Okay.
Bill,
Well,
we're working. All right. Congratulations first on your son Matt making it to the state tournament.
thanks. It was pretty exciting.
And I talked to him earlier and brought up the name Tom Daly, of course, and I know you had talked to him that quite a bit about that, and it was funny to hear him say, that's what he was thinking of, at
Yeah.
that time. So that's a pretty neat story. If you want to give your version of it a little bit, I'm sure.
Well, from the time the boys were little, so they probably have heard this story 100 times in their life. I always told them that the best wrestling match I ever saw was a friend of mine in high school by the name of Tom Daly was wrestling Jay Shanebeck, who was a returning state champ. And that was back in dual meets when if you tied, then it was a tie for team score. You didn't wrestle in overtime. So Tom took Jay Shanebeck down with 18 seconds left in the match to tie it up. And we were all excited and jumping up and down and everything because he just tied the state champion. And Tom apparently had different plans, and when he let him go with 18 seconds left, and then took him down to win the match. And it was just exciting and really unheard of. We
Yeah.
just didn't expect such a thing, but he was confident enough to do it, and he did it. And I always told the boys that that was my favorite wrestling match that I ever saw. And, so Matt told me the other day, he said, well, that actually went through my mind, which amazes me, but I suppose he's heard it enough that it would.
Well, I think that would rank up there with the fact your last match as a high school wrestler beating somebody that beat you 4 times before during the season. So uh, I told him that story. I'm sure you probably haven't told him, but he's probably heard it a few times.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to have a son in the state tournament? I know you've put a lot into it as he's been growing up, and kids tournament here and here. Does this feel like it's the culmination of something, or is it the beginning of something?
Well, we kind of feel like it's the beginning of something in a way. In a way, it's also a relief. I mean, we have, literally we wrestled 100 matches every year when the boys were growing up, um, and have lifted weights every day, and that's all we've been focusing on for the last probably 10 years or more of their life, and so in a way, it's a relief, but um, more than anything, I'd say, and I know all parents that have had kids wrestle know it's not as much fun as you would think. It's a lot more stressful, and I spend most of the time with a sick stomach, and I have a lot more fun watching everybody else's kids.
And it's like you said, it's kind of it's another step now. All of a sudden, there's new expectations, there's new challenges, there's new goals. It's kind of exciting from that standpoint that all of a sudden there's more ahead. There's more expectations. I think Matt has greater expectations, and you probably have more for him. That um,
Yeah,
let's get on to the next step, kind of thing, huh?
yeah.
And start.
Last year we really felt like he should have been at the state tournament, and he had a bad sectional, and actually even his freshman year he lost to a guy who he had beaten earlier in the year. So both those years were years we kind of wanted him to get experience at the state
Yeah.
tournament. He didn't get those, so we don't really want this to be an experience year. We want it to be a
Yeah.
year that he
Right.
wins. Um, so that's tough, but to do that we've had to focus on winning state all year and not
Yeah.
just getting there. And um, I think that's helped him. But yeah, you're right.
Right.
We'd like to see more. It's kind of bittersweet for me as a parent because Tommy didn't make it, and we
Yeah.
would have liked to have seen that too. But um, he'll have to do the same thing next year, I
Right.
guess.
He's a year younger yet.
Yeah,
And what I don't think what a lot of people realize that getting to the state tournament didn't start in November. Matt has been involved in a lot of things throughout the year. With your help, can you give us a little idea what
yeah.
went into just getting prepared for the season
You know,
from
it
last year?
it really all started last year at sectional tournament when he lost and in the semifinals, and when he figured out that he was out, and he was sitting in the hall and having a sad moment, and I sat down with him and we talked about we don't want this to happen next year, and what do we have to do to stop that? So from that day on is when it all started. And February 28th, I remember the date. We started lifting weights in the morning with a group of about 18 of the wrestlers. At least 12 very consistent ones, and those guys, most of them didn't miss a day during the week all year. and put in a lot of time. I think you saw a big change in a lot of the wrestlers, not just Matt and Tom growing, but kids like Jordan Stanek had a tremendous turnaround, and Brandon Brigham, and of course Aaron Freeman, and a lot of those kids put a lot of time into lifting. Adam Wheel, really made a big turnaround. I could go on and on because almost all of them really improved a lot, and that started February 28th last year, the Monday after the state tournament. And, now it's going to have to again because we're just have to reload, I guess, and go back at it.
So what are your expectations for Derek and Matt in state tournament, going into the state tournament this
I
year?
think, realistically, I think on a given day, any kid can win. So as a coach, I guess my expectations is we need to win every match. Um, I think both of them would be disappointed with not placing. So, that would be a realistic, I would guess.
Very good. Well, good luck and congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll see you there.
Yep.